What is stress? Stress is a state of pressure or strain that takes place in many different situations. It can be caused by any change. It can be positive or negative. Stress is an ordinary part of everyday life. It is positive when it makes a person perform well, for example, in a test or exam. However, stress can also be negative and lead to distress and crisis. It usually happens when we are in a situation that we don't feel we can manage or control. It is unavoidable, and as teacher with a lot of paperwork to accomplish, especially at the end of the school year, sometimes we experience stress, but we need to manage our stress because it can help us lead a more balanced and healthier life. We can just do one thing at a time to avoid stress. Stress is an automatic physical, mental, and emotional response to a challenging event. It is a normal part of everyone's life. When used positively, stress can lead to growth, action, and change. But negative, long-term stress can lessen your quality of life. So, always think positive. When we are stressed, we can do anything that we feel relaxed for a while. We do mindful exercise, meditation, we take breaks, especially at work, bond with our family and friends, and especially sleep enough and eat well. Next, when we experience stress, it can be as an individual. For example, when you have lots of responsibilities that you are struggling to manage. Next, part of a group. For example, if your family is going through a difficult time, such as bereavement or financial problems. And next, part of your community. For example, if you belong to a religious group that is experiencing discrimination, and also a member of society. For example, during natural disasters or events like the coronavirus pandemic. When is stress a problem? Is stress a problem? Sometimes, a small amount of stress can help us to complete tasks and feel more energized. But stress can become a problem when it lasts for a long time or is very intense. In some cases, stress can affect our physical and mental health. There are so many people that they know how to handle their stress. They can work under pressure, but in some cases, it is the weakness of others. Stress can be acute or chronic. When we say acute stress, happens within a few minutes to a few hours of an event. It can be a chronic stress. It lasts for a long period of time or it keeps coming back. Take note the signs and symptoms of stress. If you are stressed, you might feel irritable, angry, impatient or wound up, overburdened or overwhelmed, anxious, nervous or afraid, like your thoughts are racing and you cannot switch off. You might feel unable to enjoy yourself. You might feel depressed, uninterested in life, like you've lost your sense of humor, a sense of dread, worried or tense, neglected or lonely, and existing mental health problems getting worse. You already know the meaning of stress and signs and symptoms, so let's proceed to distress. What is distress? Distress is when someone is unable to cope with or adapt to the challenges or situation they are facing. Distress leads to physical, emotional discomfort, and suffering. It can be caused by a one-off crisis event or from stress building up over time. This stress is a kind of stress that negatively affects you, and it also means that you are out of your comfort zone and it feels worrisome, dangerous, or even life-threatening. This stress may lead to anxiety disorders if not addressed, can contribute to physical issues such as back pain and stomach problems. It is more difficult and can sometimes feel unmanageable. It can be short-term or long-term, more likely to include anxiety, panic, or hopelessness. Often occurs in situations where a person's perceived self-efficacy is low and more likely to affect physical health, especially if this stress is chronic. So, let's turn our distress into eustress because it may help us expand ourselves, coping resources, and foster resilience. If possible, when people experiencing chronic or unmanageable stress, they should seek support. Examples of distress: being neglected or abused, feeling burnt out, especially in difficult situations that won't end, loss of a job, death of loved one, and others. All we need to do to avoid suffering distress is to do daily meditation and regular exercise, and always seek the guidance of our Almighty before doing our tasks in our daily living.